The space had the mood of a late-night studio session, with low lighting. With a half-empty Hennessy bottle resting on the table in front of him, Jim Jones reclined in his chair. The smell of ambition and marijuana filled the air. His longtime friend and business partner Chrissy was seated across from him, and as he spoke, her piercing eyes were fixed on him. A tiny recorder flashed red. Between them, recording each and every word, this was more than a friendly conversation. Jim was exposing everything here. The tale he had suppressed for years. Man, you know how it is, Chrissy. Jim's voice began softly but firmly with conviction. Everyone is behaving as though they started this business from the beginning, but they have no idea what true love and hip-hop are. That was my grind and my vision. It was me that noticed it. Additionally, Mona, she deceived me. Chrissy leaned forward and arched an eyebrow. Mona up. Jim nodded and took a slow sip from his glass. As you said, love and hip-hop, the entire damn franchise was your idea, like you pitched it. Straightforward. I was already active in these circles. Back in 2008. You know, I had the hustle, the music, and the connections, and I could see what was going on in the scene. Cats out here, people are having crazy relationships. Yo, why ain't nobody putting this on TV? Not just the music, but the drama. The love, the betrayals, all of it, I thought, seeing jumbled egos clashing. He hesitated, his eyes narrowing as he recalled that I had a detailed plan for this entire idea. A program that tracked musicians, crews, and partners and displayed what the real world is like behind the scenes, real people with genuine stories. Not scripted gibberish. Back then, I had a different name for it. The point is that I knew it was gold. Hustle and hard, or something like that. Chrissy crossed her arms, curious yet doubtful. Since Mona Scott is regarded by everyone as the creator of love and hip-hop, how did she end up in the picture? Jim shook his head and laughed bitterly. Man, Mona was slick. I was just a guy from Harlem with a vision when I met her through a mutual connection with an industry insider who knew I was trying to sell this idea to networks. I didn't have the big-time executives or a polished pitch on my side. Oh my god, you guys have heard me respond to this, and it's really old. I keep getting this question, and I hope that eventually we'll be able to move past it. The cast has done a fantastic job of revealing their lives and opening up, but I never received the message. Mona appeared as though she would assist me in taking things to the next level. He leaned forward now with his hands, and I trusted her because she had the resume, worked with artists, and knew the TV game. As the story unfolded, I made a lot of gestures. It's crucial that you find people with stories like this in the casting process, but more importantly, we're willing to share them because, although this kind of thing happens to everyone, we don't have to live it out in front of millions of people. You know, you take the real elements and set it within this production construct, after which we held meetings with you. Chrissy, late nights in her office, I'm talking about how I wanted the program to seem unscripted, like you're in the room with these people. I offered her the names of the artists, producers, and even some of the female players who would light the fire. I outlined the entire plan. She pretended to be writing while nodding and taking notes. For myself, Chrissy's gaze expanded. You essentially gave her the playbook, then. I gave her everything, and you know what she did? She took it, flipped it, and ran. Jim smacked the table, and the sound reverberated across the silent room. The next thing I know, there are rumors circulating about a brand new reality show called Love and Hip Hop. I'm thinking maybe it's a coincidence, but then I watch the promos, and it's my own vision displayed on the screen. The tumultuous relationships in the studio ruin the entire atmosphere. The cast even included a few of the individuals I had previously mentioned. Chrissy pursed her lips and shook her head. That's chilly. Jim, but how do you know that she didn't just think of it all at once? Jim's face hardened, or something. No, it's not a coincidence. I have evidence that I saved the texts and emails. Our meeting notes. Chrissy, I have a paper trail. She pretended to be creating a pitch for us while she asked me for further information. Then, we don't speak at all. She stops answering my calls and goes silent. The next thing I know, she is the executive producer and the program has been approved. I can't find my name. I won't lie, it hurt as he leaned back and ran a hand over his face. Played she turned my idea into a circus and made money off of it. As I sat here watching it take off without me. I was out here attempting to create something tangible that would demonstrate to the world what our culture is about. Chrissy remained silent for a while as she processed. Jim groaned and slumped his shoulders as he considered it. So why aren't you suing her if you have proof? He asked. Speak with a few attorneys. However, you are aware of how this sector is. Chrissy, Mona is affiliated to a boy club. She received the funds and the influence of the lawyers. I'm just Jim Jones, a rapper attempting to make a name for himself on television. I also didn't want to be that guy revealing personal details in public because I'm proud, so I decided to put it aside, keep working hard, and take the initiative. However, it consumes you, doesn't it? Chrissy asked in a softer tone now. Her tone, yes, Jim did admit. Don't get me wrong, but knowing that it was my concept makes me glad for the people that received a platform from it. Every time I see that show appear, it's difficult to accept that I might have been a part of something so significant. Chrissy folded her hands behind her head and leaned back. What are you going to do now? You're preparing to call her out, therefore you're dropping this bomb. For a reason, right? Jim grinned with a hint of mischief in his eyes. Perhaps I haven't made up my mind yet. I want to share everything. Texts, emails, and everything else. Share the truth with the world, but a part of me just wants to go on and start something new. Chrissy greater than hip-hop and love displays movies, you name anything. I haven't finished, but Chrissy smiled. I am aware that the gym is constantly planning and dreaming, but if you choose to visit Mona, you can be sure that I will support you. We can create some sound. Jim laughed and lifted his glass. To create a stir at the time and ensure that no one ever takes away our brilliance again. The sound of their clinked glasses cut through the room's haze, and the recorder continued to blink, capturing the unadulterated emotion of a man who was harmed but not broken. Jim Jones had a story to tell, and it was obvious whether he decided to share it from the rooftops or use it as fuel for his next major move. As the evening went on, they continued to discuss the industry, loyalty, and hustling. Jim's voice became steadier with each syllable, as if he were restoring his position in the game. Something he had misplaced even though the betrayal still